Welcome so much to Lose Five for Life. Yes, even on vacation, you can lose for first 5 pounds and then keep on going for the rest of your life with some of the tools that I'm going to be teaching you today. So this is how today's call is going to go. So thanks so much for being here, Joanne and Sandra and Sue, and all the people that are watching the recording. Thank you guys so much for watching. So hopefully by the end of today, you will be going home with some actionable tools that you can put into place right away for the holidays, for vacation. Since today is actually Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day for those of you who are remembering some loved ones. I just want to start by just sharing a little bit about. We're going to get to cooking in just a minute, but first I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. Then we're going to prep the food, and then I'm going to talk about ways that we typically get stuck with our weight loss, especially this time of year, getting ready for vacations and things like that. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the solution and how we can lose those first 5 pounds for the very last time. At the end of the call, I'm going to be offering you an exclusive invitation to let you know how you can work with me and set you up for successful, sustainable weight loss for the rest of your life. But no matter what, like I said, you're going to get so much out of this live, whether you decide to work with me or not. So let's buckle up and get started. Before we go any further, I just want to take a quick photo if I can. Um, oh, yeah. Ready? Everyone look at the screen real quick. Smile. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, let me just. Perfect. All right. Um, I want to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Amy Scott. I have been overweight my entire life. I lost 80 pounds through a group coaching program. I did spend so many years through the yo-yo diet cycle. I would lose weight, but was unable to keep it off permanently. I have, I just by the time that I had decided to start losing weight for the last time I started losing weight about 5, 6 years ago, I was in my 50s. I do have Hashimoto's thyroid disease. I had tried so many programs, but they were not sustainable. And I just really thought I was broken and that it wasn't ever going to be for me. But then I lost my weight, which I'm going to explain how in a little bit. But once I lost my weight, I did decide that this was such great information. I couldn't wait to share it with others. So I decided to get certified as a coach. And I've been certified since 2022 and helping women lose their weight forever since then. I began the group coaching program, the Lose It Forever group coaching program last September. And it's in a way for me to share more of my amazing tools for more and more people. So I do see clients one-on-one, but the Lose It Forever program is easy to get into. It's a group program. I can coach you. I have the tools available for you, and you get the support of a group program. So it's amazing. So for those of you who are interested, check the link below for the sales page, and you'll be able to see all about that. So I noticed before I get into my story that there are three different kinds of women who want to lose their weight forever, especially forever, or have been struggling with their weight. So you're either a person who loves trying new things, like whatever the newest diet is, you try it, you give it a whirl, but then you gain all the weight back and then some. Or number two, you identify more as a yo-yo dieter. You stay the same weight and then for a good chunk of time, and then slowly but surely it comes back. So you're either on a diet or you're off a diet and gaining. You're on a diet and losing, or you're off a diet and gaining. Like that, the yo-yo cycle. Number three, you could gain, but lose easily until you hit menopause. I'm sorry, you have just started gaining weight, but you had in the past, you had never really were overweight before. You would gain, so you gain and lose. So as you were going along, you could gain some weight, but take care of it right away. But then you hit menopause and then everything changed. So if that's you, that's a number three. So what I'm going to ask you to do, or number four, which is you struggled with weight your whole life and you're always feeling like kind of not part of the group, that you I just assumed it was due to genetics, your temperament, that you were always destined to be struggling with your weight. That's number four. So number one, you love the new diets and you try them, but then regain your weight. Number two, you're going to put this in the chat if this applies to you. You identify as a yo-yo dieter. You're either all in or all out. Number three, you could lose weight easily, but once menopause hit, it was a real struggle. Or four, you have struggled with weight your entire life. So if we feel comfortable for jumping into the chat, type in a one, a two, a three, or a four, or you could even say five, all of the above, which is totally acceptable as an answer as well. All right, so we have a three, which is weight has sort of not been a problem for you, but then menopause hit and you're like, wait, what's going on? What's happening with my body? Or there's another one that has struggled with weight your whole life. That's me. I just thought there was something radically wrong, that I was never possible for me to lose my weight. Plus, I did have trouble after menopause. Plus, I have been a yo-yo dieter, and I have been a person who I've tried a bunch of different things. Back in the day, it was like what was the thing that began with a D? I don't know, Dimetep or some kind of horrible diet pill that made you like super uh, agitated. Like that was terrible. I did the South Beach diet for a period of time. Everyone tries Atkins. Of course, we tried Atkins for a little bit. I did Weight Watchers, spent many, many, many years going back and forth to Weight Watchers and never was successful long term until I learned some of the tools that I'm going to teach you today. So the food planning blueprint is the topic for today. It's a simple and easy and doable. It's going to address the issue of the yo-yo diet cycle. My experience with losing weight, like I said, has been all over the place. Um, I would, I would, I can remember just like gritting my teeth, losing a couple pounds, and then either giving up or giving in. Or once I did reach my weight, I'd be like, "Whew, done, yeah," and then gain it all back, right? So one time, sorry, we have a number two in the chat. So somebody who has been a yo-yo. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, it's hard. It's hard and it's real. The struggle is for real. So I'm sure all of you who are watching the replay too can totally relate to one of these as well. So one time I was thinking about especially thinking of summer, I was thinking of a road trip. So one time back in the day, I took Ben to Texas. I had to deliver some family heirlooms to two of my sisters who both lived in Texas. And my very first thought wasn't like, well, it was like the safety of my son. What if I die in a car crash? Aside from like the anxiety of what if I die in a car crash and he's 8 years old on the side of the road? That was like the agitation. So to manage that, I got a Aldi's bag, the biggest bag you can imagine, filled with goodies. Like I am talking, we had like Twizzlers and cheese puffs and Fritos and all the soda you could imagine. Um, and it was a 30-hour drive. So it was 3 days, 30, like we did like three, we broke it up into three. But that was my first thought was, I'm going to just bring all the stuff that I could bring to keep us occupied for such a long time. And it was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This bag is, yeah, it was like bigger than this counter here. It was huge. Um, so that's how I thought of vacation because that's what it meant for me. I mean, I think it was partially because I was agitated, uptight about it. Um, so what I want to show you today is how I began to think differently and lose those 80 pounds and keep that off even on vacation. So one of the things that hang on one sec. Okay, right. So I learned the tools that I'm going to teach you today. And if you've never been successful before, this is the right place. You've come to the right place. And this process is really different from anything that's out there. But before we get to that, we're actually going to go switch over to cooking. So I got my handy dandy apron here. There are those of you who are doing the recipe. Is anyone on the camera cooking? Yes, you can just nod. I can't hear you. Okay, perfect. So if somebody was, doing the recipe. Or if you would like, would you like the recipe? I can drop it in the chat if that would be useful for you. Yes? Or you don't need it. Okay, perfect. So what I'm making today is basically my food prep thing for the week is a apple quinoa, cranberry apple quinoa salad. And so I love whatever, when it comes to food prep and maintaining my weight or losing weight, I just love to keep things so simple. So whether you're going on vacation, that's one of the things that has really helped me is just sort of thinking ahead and planning ahead what food I want to take. This would be a great option for you to take ahead with you on a trip because there's no mayo or things like that in it. Um, so I'm going to start with, if you look at the recipe, the I made the quinoa. I'll be right back. Let me go grab that. And the idea is that you put, so I made the quinoa in some vegetable broth. You're supposed to rinse it off. It said it on the package. So here's the one that I got. It was from Aldi's. And quinoa has a lot of good stuff in it. It's got protein. It is about 27 carbs, but it's so good and so filling, and it's really yummy. Um, so I have here the kale. I also have some chopped kale that I just buy in a bag. I take out all the big, thick, woody stems that are like kind of thicker. I just kind of rip those out, and I did cut this up. And in the recipe, it says to massage it with salt, which I have never done before. Gotta say, it's a little more wilty than it was before, but I kind of like it crunchy. I'm not sure. I've never done it this before, so it is a little more wilty. So it's like 5 ounces of kale. In this quinoa, I steamed it, and then you throw the cran raisins right in there. So I got these dried cranberries at Aldi's, and I put them in there and let them steam so that they plump up a little bit. So I'm going to pour this right into here. Okay, and then next, I am going to put in, okay, I do have to cut some apples. So as I'm cutting the apples, if you want to just unmute and talk about the holidays, like, is anyone like considering, by the way, garbage, this is the garbage bowl, girl's best friend. I also, when I'm food prepping, I put on some great music or something fun to watch on my phone or listen to a podcast. Trash cans right here, dishwasher's empty, ready to go to receive all my things. So it's a super easy cleanup. I just try to keep things as simple as possible. So as I'm cutting the apples, does anyone want to share your travel experience? Like when you go on the road, what is your favorite road food? Or if there's something like from your past. I think we used to have pretzels. There was a time, well, it was always pretzels. Splits was a thing. So I'm just going to dice up these apples and put them right in the salad, right in this bowl. If you can just unmute and share your road trip story, if you have any, I would love to hear them.
We used to always eat licorice. It was like red vine and like the I think it's called red vine licorice, but we had the black and the red. And
Yeah.
we would like get this great big family pack and we'd eat the whole thing. Like we were so
Yep.
sick of licorice by the time we got there, but it was just a favorite thing to do. We did every time we traveled. And
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, Twizzlers. I think that's a West Coast thing. So Sandra's out west. And for East Coast folks, it's Twizzlers, and same thing, same for sure. We always had Twizzlers. That was like, and we would never get it any other time of year. It was like always really special for a road trip. I guess because it didn't melt. It wasn't like chocolate or something, so it wouldn't melt. So that was why, the parents would do that. Any other road food that you can think of, Joanne?
What did you say was yours? I didn't recognize it.
The Twizzlers?
No, something
Oh,
else you
Sandra's.
said.
Mine was
No,
Red vine.
Amy. No, Amy mentioned a
I
word.
said Cheetos, Fritos, Twizzlers. Oh, splits, pretzels. There's
Splits.
splits.
Okay.
There's like pretzels that are like kind of split. They're baked, over baked or something. I think they probably, made a
Oh,
mistake and then it turned into a thing that They're like really extra crunchy. Those pretzels, always pretzels. If I remember, like that was the time we always did pretzels. And then you would get thirsty because you're like in the car, right? So you'd eat a bunch of pretzels with all the salt. Then you get thirsty. Then you have to drink some stuff. What about anyone else? Want to share your favorite road food?
So we always went on vacation. We went on holiday in the motorhome,
Uh-huh.
and we it's the only time we bought white bread, and it was these big, gigantic, poofy rolls for sandwiches. And I remember way back then it kind of gave me a stomach ache, but you loved them, so you still ate them even though it gave you a stomach ache.
I love white bread sometimes. For certain things, gotta have white bread. Like a meatloaf sandwich, gotta be white bread. Anyone else want to share your road food story?
I actually took clementine oranges when I drove to California. I
Okay.
took a whole bag of them because I was driving for I don't know how many days. I don't
Yeah.
remember. But
Yeah. Yeah.
and that
Many
was a
days.
yeah,
Yeah.
many days. Um, but that was a great thing to have in the car. It was
Yeah.
really pretty
They didn't make
easy.
your hip fingers all sticky. That's why I tend to stay away from certain
Not with
fruits.
mandarins too much.
No? Okay, that's
No.
awesome.
Yeah, they're
I would,
pretty easy to peel
okay,
and break apart. No, they're not too messy at all, actually.
that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
so
I'm not
let's put,
saying I didn't eat unhealthy things, but that was one of my favorite things to take on a
and
trip.
if there's no good or bad food, right? But
No.
yeah, it's the whole, so yeah, for me, it was, so what that developed actually in me, and I know we're going to be talking about planning also, but it did develop in me a really unhealthy relationship with, oh, as soon as the car turns on, the hand goes to the mouth. That's something that I had to actually work really hard to break that habit, regardless of what the food is, because it was like you're bored and you're driving. So, oh, well, it's time to eat, obviously, obviously. So, um, so that is just really interesting to notice that that happens on road trips. What about holiday food? Is there something like, especially today or tomorrow, if anyone's going on some picnics, anything? Are you anticipating any holiday meals coming up, or um, what's coming up for you about that? Anyone? We're not going anywhere. So, all right.
No, I'm not either.
Oh, Sandra, you're not. You're muted.
Sorry.
Oh wait, that's all right. I'm dying to
Um,
hear. Go ahead.
As I just said, summer holidays always brings lots of barbecues for us. Like we do a lot of barbecuing.
Yeah,
And so lots of fruit and chips, lots of chips. And
and
then
chips.
um, hamburgers, or sometimes we do steaks or, whatever. But yeah. And then potato salad, like lots of potato
Mm,
salad.
Yes,
yum.
yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what would you think if I said it's totally fine to eat any of those things? Red vines, Twizzlers, corn chips, that they're all not a problem. They're actually all not a problem to have, even if whether you're on a road trip or whether you're at a vacation spot, that really it's just plan. If you would plan for those, even the white bread, that planning for them makes all the difference in the world. So I just added the onion, by the way, and I'm mixing up I think this is all the ingredients. Looking pretty good. I'm actually not sure I made this one yet before. Usually I do recipes that I have at least tried before, and I thought I had, but now I'm looking at it going, I don't think I made this one before. Anyway, but it looks pretty good. It looks like a nice mix. Um, but there is a way that if you plan your food, that what if no food is off limits, especially if you are just starting out with your first 5 pounds, that you haven't been successful in losing weight and keeping it off, that when you associate good food, bad food, junk food, whatever you want to call it, that right there can just put you in a situation. I'm not saying that you can eat all the food in the whole world all the time, but what if there was a time and a place where you could actually enjoy a little bit of food at a time once you learn to trust your body and you're not just hand to mouth when you're in the car? So, for example, when I was in the car with my son, I probably wanted to eat because I was afraid. I was really anxious about it. And the food served me in that moment because I was afraid. Like I was legitimately afraid that something bad could happen. So the food or overeating it in that case was what I needed to calm myself down, which is just good to notice. But now I know that it's not the food itself that was the issue. It's probably the quantity for sure. It was the quantity. And it was my thought that this food is going to rescue me in some way. So we're going to talk about when you're planning to plan for the food that you will actually eat. So before I get there, I want to make up the dressing. So I'll just go real quick through that. Um, oh, the pecans. I forgot a couple things. I did toast these pecans and chop them in a little bit of a frying pan. And you definitely want to keep an eye on that because they burn pretty easily. This is feta, some crumbled feta that goes in there. And then this is everything. Okay, I should definitely pay attention to what I'm doing here. So I had made the quinoa a little bit earlier, so it had already cooled off a little bit. All right, now I'm going to make the dressing, which has, I'll just start with this. This is some lemon juice, some Dijon mustard, some honey, and olive oil. Actually, I'll save that for a little bit of ground pepper, freshly ground pepper, and then some red pepper flakes. If you like the heat, you don't have to have that in if you don't want to. And then I'm going to move this aside and whisk the olive oil in. All right. And there we go. Looks like that. I'm going to pour it over and done. And now I'm going to put that I'll let this sit for a minute, mix it up, toss it together. And then I'm just going to put that in a container. This is going to be my meal for the week, probably. If you want, one of the things you might want to do, especially if you're not going to eat it right away, like I'm probably going to not eat it right away. And it's probably going to last all week because I'm the only one that's going to eat this in my house. I would probably hold off on the pecans. I would probably not have put those in right now because they might get a little soggy. So you might want to put those aside and then just put them in a little container. I also have some leftover rotisserie chicken that you could put in now, or I could just wait till later to put in. I'm going to wait because I'm not sure I like it. I will see if I like it. But I think it would be really good with some chicken in it. I get the idea that it might be really good with some rotisserie chicken in there. So that's it for the recipe. I did want to also share that this morning, that before I jumped on, I cut up a pineapple and I cut up some pepper. So they're ready to go to have with uh, some hummus for the week. I also made some salads. Greg's been taking salads into work. So those are done too. So like I said, before I got on, I just did that real quick. When it comes to travel food, back to traveling, this is my go-to now. I cut up apples ahead of time. They're not messy. I can't say about clementines. I don't know, but that's definitely going to be on my list. But I love apples and peanut butter or apples and I just get this is my little peanut butter container. You have it handy. And I just dip my apples right in it. So that's kind of adds a little protein, a little fat, which is sustainable. These protein bars are from Costco and they have 22 grams of protein in them. They will give your mouth a workout. They're kind of hard and you have to be careful in the summer months because they do get melty. But as I was losing weight, I started with a whole one. And then as I was getting lighter on the scale, a half of one totally did it for me. I would eat these when I was a sales rep and I would keep them in my car. And then a little bag of peanuts. I think I told you guys I would do my peanuts, or my nut mix. This has, I like walnuts, pecans, cashews. Yeah, walnuts, almonds, pecans, and cashews. That's what's in here. And Greg has been grabbing these to go to work. He loves these. These are really great to grab, because what'll happen is I have like a big thing of cashews. And then I have those other ones too, but I'm like, ooh, cashews. And then that's all I'll eat. When I know the pecans and the walnuts have other vitamins in them, they're also better. So if I make it easy, chances are I will eat these. So this is also goes in my like, this is my travel emergency pack that I take on trips now. Um, so what helps with this, and so thus ends the portion, the food prep portion. So I want to jump into our topic for today. Whoop, got much my hair. All right, get this out of the way. So as far as when it comes to um, what about planning? What about it? Like, what are some people's thoughts about when I talk about planning and assessing? So I'll just start. You can think about what lands with you. But I think for me, when I first started thinking about it, the thought of planning and assessing, it felt punitive. It felt like, the way when I would think about what I ate, it was always with like some type of shame. And then looking at it and saying, if I have to look at this, it's going to feel terrible. It's not going to feel good. So I didn't want to look at it because that felt terrible. And it felt overwhelming because of the time it would take. I would think, well, I don't have time. I don't want to think about it. First of all, I don't want to think about it. So I would just push it away. And it would take too long anyway. It's just silly. So I would just move away from the thought of assessing my food. The thought of planning. So think about your thoughts, like what comes up for you when you think about planning. For me, I remember thinking it felt restrictive because I want freedom. I'm a free spirit. I like to be spontaneous. And I thought that it would force me to lack spontaneity because that's a high value of mine. I also thought I don't know what to plan. And I would be feeling really perfectionistic. Like I want to make sure I'm planning perfectly or plan good food. I'm just going to watch. My hands are a little sticky from something. I don't know what. Um, Plan good food, plan healthy food, quote unquote, and that would stop me from planning appropriately because I thought I had to do it perfectly. And so I wanted to make sure I was doing it the right way. Also, the thought of setting time aside each week to food prep. That's another piece of this that I teach that I have adapted into my life. At the beginning, I was like, that's crazy. So here's what I thought food prep meant. This is what I thought it used to mean. I thought it meant, I'm going to show you how I do it now versus what I thought it meant. I thought it meant that if you had to get every recipe you've ever seen in any magazine in the book. I have a hanging file folder that's like huge of all my recipes. And I thought I have to have a new recipe for five a week. I had this all planned out. So this was going to be my food prep. So I have the days of the week. I was going to have like an Asian day and a Italian day. And then I put these in here. This is my binder that I came up with. Now, I'm not saying that this is not a good idea. It wasn't for me. This was my plan. This is what I thought it meant. It might work for you. This might be amazing for you. I got little, dividers. This is my Mexican section and all my Mexican recipes. And I thought this will be so easy and I will plan. It never worked. I've never used this thing in my whole life. It kept getting confused. It was too overwhelming. I was, again, probably being super perfectionistic about it. My way of food prep now is I make, well, let me back up. I'll talk about how I prep now, how I prep now in a minute. But I did think it felt overwhelming. Like it felt like it was too big. Does that resonate with anybody? That it was like, if someone would just tell me what to cook, I would just make it. It's making the decision, it just feels like, ugh, so heavy. So, and I thought it just felt pointless. So like I'm never going to get there. So why even try? So I thought it would take too long. I thought plus I'm not a big fan of cooking, as those of you who know me really well, it's not my favorite thing. And I just thought it would take too long and take too hard. And so I'll just wing it throughout the week, which is interesting what comes up with that when you do that approach, right? Okay. So the antidote to all these three things. So the first was assessing your food. The second thing was planning your food. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is food prep and how it's super helpful. And this is all part of the food planning blueprint that I teach inside the Lose It Forever weight loss program. First, when you're assessing your food, there are no good or bad foods. The first thing to do is to start tracking what you're actually eating now. So a lot of times people think, "Oh, I don't want to write down. I want to eat perfectly so that I can write down the food by assessment perfectly so that I don't have to be realistic or whatever the thing is." Like we think, if I'm going to look at it, I better be perfect. Instead of, how about this? I'm going to look at it and I'm going to love myself no matter what. And then whatever the food is, it is. And that's going to give me so much good information if I just can separate the judgment from it. So there's a no judgment zone. I teach my clients to just look at their food without that layer of judgment upon it, which helps free you up so much to eat whatever you're normally eating. Then you can look at it more realistically. I teach you to notice, first of all, what you're doing right. So I teach my clients to celebrate whatever they're proud of for the day and focus on that first, because you can always catch something that you're doing right. Like I drank 64 ounces of water today. Then all of a sudden you don't mind assessing so much. Or I did stop eating a little bit sooner at breakfast. Go me, or you know what? I chose a little bit of a better choice for food at one of the meals. Even though at the end of the day, you might be thinking, oh, screwed up. I overate at dinner. I had three desserts instead of one, whatever that is. But earlier, that when you're assessing your whole day, you might be able to catch a couple glimpses of like, yeah, but you know what? At breakfast, I I had, I don't know, whole wheat toast instead of a bagel this time. And it was okay. Or I left a few bites behind at this other meal, or I wasn't triggered and didn't turn to food. I actually was able to say no to somebody who had donuts at work, and I said no at that time. Even though it might not have been a perfect day, but catching what you are doing right makes assessing not so heavy and overwhelming. I also help you to do it in such a simple way that you can do it in 10 minutes. The assessing and the planning, just in 10 minutes a day, max. It's super easy. It takes very little time with my food planning blueprint, which I will be sharing with you guys. So that's the assessing piece. When you're making your daily plan, you're making it based on, so take that look of what you assessed from the day before and then plan what you're already eating anyway. A lot of times when people plan, you plan with this like weird ideal of what the perfect food is in mind and the weight loss food or the thing to do, to lose your weight perfectly. Or if I want to lose weight, I better eat this particular way instead of just plan how you're already eating. What happens is magically you all of a sudden are bringing it up to the forefront instead of hiding behind it and pretending it's not there. You're looking at it from love and you're going to plan for food that you might actually enjoy. So put the Twizzlers on your plan. Put the red vines on your plan. Put the corn chips can be on your plan. When they're on your plan, all of a sudden they kind of lose their sexiness, which is the idea, because some of those foods we turn to for emotional reasons, right? Um, so it really does not matter what it is that you're putting on your plan, especially in the beginning, you're not going to worry about it at all. As you are losing your weight, as you go down the scale, then you may want to tweak a little bit, not everything. So a lot of times people think, well, in order to keep going, I've got to get rid of all the carbs. I've got to get rid of all the, whatever. I can only eat like celery and air. And then maybe because I'm losing, I'm getting closer to my goal or whatever. Same thing applies even when you're getting closer to your goal is plan the food you actually enjoy that you will eat because you can learn to trust your body, leave bites behind. It's really not what you eat, it is the quantity. It's always the quantity and being able to stop when you're actually satisfied and eat only when you're hungry, which is a whole other piece that I teach my clients to do. So the food is not the issue. And it's so hard. Let me tell you, so many of my clients, my one-on-one, as well as my Lose It Forever clients, have such a hard time with this because of diet culture. We are under this impression that white bread is evil. White bread is not evil. Now, it might not make you feel great, and that's another story. Then you don't have to eat that much of it. But having a little bit of white bread once in a while actually is not what causes you to gain weight. That's actually a lie. We think if we only eat white bread that that's why I'm overweight. Or we think because I had corn chips, that's why I'm overweight. No, it's your relationship with yourself, it's your relationship with food, thinking that food is the answer to your emotional problems. That's why you're eating too much. That's why you're overweight. Okay. So the food does not matter. I don't know how else to say this so many times. The food does not matter. Next, on your plan, you're going to plan to drink 48 ounces of water. So I have a bottle that I just fill up to 48 ounces, and then I pour into my glass, which, by the way, I'm very thirsty, pour into my glass throughout the day. And when that bottle's empty, I know I've done my job of drinking all my water. Get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. That's the other thing you want to plan. A lot of times people think I've got to plan a little bit, a tiny bit of food, and then I'll lose the weight. But you forget, so you're taking away so much stuff and not giving yourself anything. You want to give yourself extra rest, extra water, give yourself the gift of a little bit of movement each day or some type of self-care. That's what you want to add in. So when you are maybe saying no to food, you want to see, well, what else could fit the bill here? Getting out, getting some walking, getting some talking with a friend, whatever feels nourishing and really lovely to you. So here below, I'm just going to throw it in the chat is my daily planning sheet. If you would like a copy of it, I'll be there. You can share that. This is what I use every day, and I've used it for the last 6 years in some form. So you can look at this one, make it your own, but I got this idea from my coach and I made it my own. And I love it. It has some guided journaling questions, as well as assessing and planning your food, which again, this sheet takes me about 10 minutes each morning. Planning from your best self first thing in the morning or at night, whichever time you like to plan, will help you stick to your goals versus grabbing what feels good in the moment. So taking a few minutes in the morning will actually save you hours at the end of the day. So one of the things I was thinking about was when you are planning, sometimes we think, oh, but I don't want to plan. It'll take too much time. I'm just going to wing it. And what happens when you wing it? By the end of the day or midday, you're tired. It's a Wednesday. Life has been lifing. Like stuff has been going on. Like we all have those weeks, right? Where everything is all happening all at once. And it's like, I just want something easy. I want something simple. If you have planned and prepped for the week, then you're going to be in much better shape to do that. So I have a client who said she resisted the idea of planning because she said it felt so restrictive and daunting. But after coaching with me, she realized she was holding back and thinking that she needed to do it perfectly. The aha came when she realized she could just plan the food she was already eating. And she said it felt so freeing. Once she let go of perfection, she just dialed into eating more mindfully and the food lost its power. So this is the thing, like having authority over food, everything. It's amazing. What freedom. What freedom. Okay. Last point, food prep. So setting aside some time each week for making an overall plan for next week based on your goals. Keep asking yourself, this is what I did. Keep asking yourself, how can I make this easy? Not getting the 3-ring binder or every magazine I ever had, the Cooking Light magazines that I've had for 20 years stacked up, to the ceiling, picking out recipes. How can I make this easy for me? It actually helps for daily planning if you have food prepped ahead of time. So what I do now is all my recipes that I mainly eat go in here. It's a folder. It's just a folder. And it's maybe 20 recipes and they go on repeat because I don't make a whole lot of different things, but that works for me. And I might look through here when I'm doing my plan for the week. Oh, look, there it is, salmon or, whatever it is, they all just stay right in here. It's super easy. And that's how I plan my food. I just grab one of those, whatever I don't overthink it. I don't have to worry about it. I know these are recipes that I've tried and it's super easy. And in my house, we don't all eat the same thing. So part of my food prep is going to Costco, getting this rotisserie chicken for $4.99. Thank you very much. Also getting some prepped meals for my mother-in-law who has special dental needs that she can't eat. I get some food for Greg loved his tacos, so he likes to make them. So I would make them for him, but he likes the way he makes them. So he makes tacos for the week. So he has his stuff, I have my stuff. I make some things for my mother-in-law ahead of time. I cut some fruit ahead of time. This is what I do on my Sunday. So typically on a Sunday, between like 1 and 4 or thereabouts, I'll set some time for food prep. If you want to try it for the first time, maybe set a timer, see if you can get a little bit faster. So it probably took me 6 hours the first time. I was exhausted. I planned way too many things. Now I'm good with just one thing. If I just plan one thing and I fill in with other stuff throughout the week, for me, that's what works for me. If you want, you can set a timer and see if you can get a little bit faster. I also love to look for recipes on Instagram. That's another really great place to look for recipes if you want to do that, like kind of like look around, but setting some side of time, setting a timer, setting up the kitchen so that it's super easy. I also really love listening to a podcast or music, like some cooking. I have like cooking music that like gets me going. Sometimes I'll even watch a TV show on my phone, but I make that as me time. I love it as I think of it as self-care. And then over the years, I've collected tools and things that make things just go so much faster, and getting much better at it. So it's just like the gift that keeps on giving. And on a Wednesday, I just think, oh, I'm so glad I have these things prepped. So my Sunday girl had my Wednesday's girls back. It's just love that. It's just so fun. So, so just like deciding for food each morning, like we talked about, takes a few minutes to decide on your food or decide on your plan first thing in the morning, and then it saves you hours in the end of the day. The same thing happens with your week. If you could just spend a couple hours prepping, doing all this stuff, like I'm looking at my salads. My salads are done for the week. They go in the fridge. Greg could grab them, super easy to put in his lunch, or we could just, when I have company, guess what? I'm like, oh, would you like some salad? It takes no pressure or stress for me to have a salad. It's as easy to grab a salad as it is a candy bar or popcorn or something that might not be quite as fulfilling or as nourishing for me. So it saves so much time. Like I can't even tell you how much time it saves throughout the week. And guess what else? The kitchen stays cleaner, like a lot cleaner, because you're not like schlepping out the cutting board every time, or we're cleaning up the stove or whatever. I do a big cleanup on Sunday, and pretty much the kitchen stays kind of tidy throughout the rest of the week. It's super fun. So that's another another time saving. So, um, okay, I okay. So for vacation planning, that's one thing I wanted to make sure I talked about that, because this is one of the things that I did struggle with before I had lost my weight, before had learned some of these tools that I'm teaching you, is that I it felt like a little out of control. And vacation in our family meant eating, like a lot of eating, like sit around, play cards. And we always had, I don't know if you guys can recognize those peanut butter cookies with the little peanut butter. They look like peanuts, Nutter Butters, I guess they're called, or something. We'd always eat those. Oreos, like a lot of sweets, things like that, pretzels, of course. And so, what I like to think about for vacation for me is thinking about when I'm going on a trip, and doing the cooking, you're going to be prepping anyway. So, getting back to the weekly prepping, I think, what if I was going on vacation next week? How do I want to prep this Sunday so that I can pretend I'm on vacation for the week, and don't want to be bothered deciding each day what I'm going to eat, so that that's what motivates me to food prep on Sundays. When it comes to eating out or not knowing what food's going to be available, this is when I ask myself or my clients, like, what is in my control? And how do you want to feel when you get back home? So when we're talking about vacation planning, instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to just have a blast, I deserve it, it's vacation, I think, okay, how do I want to feel when I'm driving in the driveway after the week is over, or flying in from wherever we're flying in from? Do I want to have like, oh my gosh, I have so much weight to lose, or it was a lot of fun, but now I have to pay the price and now I got to get back to it, or it's going to be such a drag. So when I go on vacation now, I actually just do what I do at home. It's really not different food wise. Now, some of it might be out of my control. And so I think I just ask myself what's in my control, what's not in my control. I can eat when I'm hungry. I can stop when I've had enough. There are some times that I think about what do I want to eat? Like what's really important to me? So there might be like a specific type of food at this place, and thinking about like I think about Coors Brothers ice cream when you go down to the shore. It's orange and vanilla ice cream swirl. Like that's like a really fun thing to get. And can you eat that? Yes. And can you eat just a little? Yes. And still enjoy it and have just as much fun if you ate like a big giant cone, but you're going to be so much happier when you get home. Now, there are some things that you can think about ahead of time and say, you can kind of decide there are some things that I can say no to. Like the Twizzlers, they kind of don't do anything for me anymore. They get stuck in my teeth. It's not a big deal. I've had a lot of Twizzlers in my life or red vines. I've had enough of those. Like I don't need anymore. I'm good. So they do not go with me on vacation anymore. I've enjoyed them. It was great when they lasted, but I don't need them anymore. So what can you say no to? So and like kind of thinking ahead of time, what can you let go of? Another thing I do, and I now have my daily planning sheet, my daily planning blueprint on an iPad. So that's easy. But I used to take the sheets with me. So I would put the sheets in a notebook, and then I would take out whatever sheets I had for the week. I would take those with me. For those of you who are my clients, the overeat exploration sheet, I would bring a bunch of those with me just to help me if I did mess up. I love to have those sheets to help me to get back on track really easily. Um, and they're super easy to do. It takes 5 minutes. Even on vacation, you can take a minute and plan and assess, because a lot of times we'll go on vacation, it'll be a whole week, and won't want to look at our food when we get back home. We've gotten out of the habit, and then it's really hard to like readjust. And then next thing you know, you're like, 20 pounds over and not and ready to give up. So I don't want you to give up. This is the thing. This is going to help you to stay steady if you give yourself the gift of planning and assessing, even on vacation. That's what helps you to stay on track and eat the foods you love and be loving to yourself and not be hiding behind your own back. Then last, I want to just mention re-entry ahead of time. So what can you do ahead of time when you're re-entering, when you're coming back from vacation? So I think about like, can you get some Instacart orders? So one of the things I've been doing is ordering from Aldi's or Walmart. You can actually make your grocery order on your phone and just keep it there. And then right before you land from the plane or as you're driving in, you can hit buy now, and then your food will be waiting for you when you arrive. Or you could have it delivered if you have Instacart delivery in your area. We do not in Bartow, but other places that are more populated, you might have more luck. You can order a grocery pickup. You can also have some pre-made things ahead of time that you could put in the freezer that might be easy to just defrost or microwave the day you get home. So, but if you want some fresh food, then chances are you're going to need to go to a store or something. So, sticking to these three principles: assess your food daily, plan each day what you're going to eat, and then prep meals ahead of time for the week. I guarantee it's going to help your weight loss go so much faster, so much simpler. And I'm here to help you and guide you along the way if that would be useful for you. So before I finish, I do want to invite you to let you know how you could work with me if you have not begun to work with me, because you can continue to do things on your own. You absolutely can. You could come to some trainings that I'm going to be doing. I do these all the time. And my guess is I will be doing these continually for a good time now. But for my weight loss, I recognized I needed help. And then when it comes to doing something, especially something I've never done before, I really needed help. So that's why I still hire coaches to help me with my life, with my relationships, with my business. And yes, even weight loss, I hire coaches to help me with that too. So in case you don't know what coaching is, it's a cheerleader and a guide, someone who can navigate a path that you've never been on. I can go ahead of you and look out for obstacles that are in the past would have tripped you up, but I've been there. I know. So I can help you to take your next easiest step. So the food planning blueprint is only one of the things that I offer. One of my pillars that I offer in the Lose It Forever weight loss group coaching program. And it's all about simplifying things, planning food, assessing your food, and then and feeling amazing in your body about the food that you're choosing. So I also offer the sustainability weight loss system, which has proven to my clients that you can have permanent answer to losing all your weight forever. I help you to identify your own protocol. You actually make up your own food protocol. I don't give you a diet plan. I don't give you a list. You create what food that you actually will like and feels good in your body, and we tweak it as you go down the scale. You notice what you're eating without that judgment. You build trust with your body to learn when you're physically hungry and physically satisfied. And we celebrate your wins. We do that every week on the call with all of my clients. It's so fun to see the celebrations, the progress that people are making, and things that you, especially things you don't think are great celebrations. The little tiny ones are the ones you definitely want to celebrate, which is amazing. So I have a client, MH, who lost 30 pounds. She started with doing some journaling. She was resistant to it, of course, but she now has discovered that writing down her food literally takes very little time, and she feels like it's a non-negotiable. She learned how to be okay with being a little bit hungry, learning that hunger is not an emergency. She learned that the value of leaving bites behind, even though she was convinced at one point she was not overeating. She no longer views food as a treat. This is something we work on a lot of times in the Lose It Forever program, is that food is not a treat. She loves the phrase, I am always in control. We're talking about that agency, that we have authority over that food. So during the call, we take some time poking holes in those old ways of thinking. And then we transition. We also talk about building your self-confidence, and that starting with your self-confidence now is how you're going to lose that weight. A lot of us think you have to beat yourself up to lose the weight, get the whip out. But the truth is it's the opposite. So with a self-confidence cure, you're going to move away from the frustrated, hopeless version of yourself and to the new person who you radically love yourself and accepting of where you are right now. We can change the circumstances. You can even change your weight and still not love who you are. The truth is you do not have to be thin in order to love yourself. And that's what I teach my clients right away. So we spend time focusing on who you already are, the amazing person you are, and with a radical self-acceptance. I help you to notice how you're talking to yourself, and then we come up with a more supportive way to talk to yourself that you would like to adapt and to make better decisions from that place of love, not from the place of, you know, the parent telling you what to do, or the mean girl in all of us, right? So I have a client, JL. She didn't actually come to me for weight loss. She actually came to me because I had written something about confidence one time in a post. And so she had been through a difficult divorce. So her confidence was like through the ringer, right? So we spoke a lot about radical self-acceptance, accepting where she is, and that she was able through our coaching to fall deeply in love with the person she already is without changing a thing. As a result, like I said, she didn't come to for weight loss, but as a result, she did lose 20 pounds. She also happened to find the man of her dreams. She's happily married now, and something that would not have happened. I'm not saying I would do that for everybody. You never know, right? I'm not typically a marriage or a relationship coach, but hey, coaching is amazing. So, so now she's married. So this is amazing. So when I do want to mention that when we are dealing with that the lack of self-confidence is because we're beating ourselves up. And so we will slip up. We're human. We're not going to do it perfectly. My trip down the scale wasn't like a beautiful straight line. There was like ups and downs, ups and downs. Now, eventually it got all the way down to 80 pounds. But the biggest key was being able to assess why I was overeating in the first place. When I made a mistake, not dropping into judgment, but just being really curious and compassionate. And I have an overeat exploration roadmap that I help with my clients, that I use with my clients to help us do just that. That's the key. If you want to take one thing away from how to lose your weight, for sure, it's using this overeat exploration sheet. It's the one thing that's going to help you identify why you're overeating in the first place and how not to beat yourself up over making mistakes and things like that. That we make mistakes, it's okay. And that's how you get beyond it and move past it and not swirl around in self-loathing. So that leads me to that have you ever said to yourself, once I start eating, I just can't stop, especially specific types of foods? So with the so with the manageable urge method that I teach my clients, it all starts with how you're talking to yourself, what kinds of foods you think you should be eating, of course, and then I help my clients realize that they can eat any food with control. That's the answer. Like nothing is off limits, but yes, we do need to have a little bit of control, and it's our thoughts about those foods and how if we think that that they have a power over us, yeah, it's not going to be good. So I teach you how to gain that power over your food with this manageable urge method. So overeating over the weekends just becomes a thing of the past. Villainizing specific food, treating yourself with food with a treat also is something that we do not, that used to equate. We don't talk about it that way anymore. So that by the time you complete my program, you can be comfortable sitting in a room with any type of food and eating it with control. So I have a client, Christy. She says, after just one session, I helped her identify a blind spot of how she was not taking breaks throughout the day, which led to rewarding herself with late night snacking. So I don't know if any of you guys deal with that, but for sure I did at the beginning. Since our coaching session, she said she reduced her snacking by recognizing the real reasons behind it and implementing the tools that she could use right away. So I talk about the sort of like the psychology of it, as well as giving really practical tools of ways to get around it. So that's Christy's story. It was just so exciting to see some progress that she's been making. So for those of you who are interested, here's what you get on a weekly call. So the membership, the Lose It Forever membership, we have a weekly coaching call every Thursday at 7. I do a little bit of teaching and then we do some coaching. We do different things, different topics each week. I make I have replays for everybody. If you can't attend live, I have a client, LS, who was very rarely attended live. She's already lost 20 pounds, or actually more. Lost more than 20 pounds. She's been in the program since September, since I started it, and she rarely made it to the calls, but to live. But watching the replays, she was able to get what she needs, and she was able to navigate all the holidays. This was like right around Christmas at the time, but and she was sharing how her daughter was hugging her, and she's like, "Mom, there's hardly any of you left anymore." And she's shopping for smaller jeans. It's like it's been a great thing. So super excited for her. But yeah, she just watching the replays, they're so effective, whether you're able to attend live or not. If you join right now, you'll have access to about 38 weeks of coaching calls. So each call has a different topic. Each topic is highlighted. It's all organized so that you can just pick whichever topic sounds good to you. So you can just like Netflix, you can go like, you know what, I'm having trouble with urges today. You could just pop one in. I did a thing on habits, which was super helpful. Anyway, just really, really great stuff. We have a Facebook community, a warm, wonderful, filled with women who want more for their lives and supporting each other, lifting each other up. I also have printable resources available for you to take the work even deeper. And then in addition, I have about 20 specific topic coaching calls that take like probably an hour or so each to dive into things like your physical hunger, feelings, and how that affects weight loss, journaling and creating a journaling habit, why we stay stuck, things like that. The price of my program is only $560 for the annual membership, which works out to about 46 bucks a month. I mean, it's unbelievable. This price is unheard of in the diet industry. I love the annual membership option because I really believe it's the best for my clients. It took me about 2 years plus 20 to lose my weight forever. And so it takes time to learn these techniques to really change your mind, to change your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself. It's not going to be quick. I'm just saying. However, I also do have an option for a monthly option, and that's $55 a month. So you're welcome to do that as well. Let me think. One of the things, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I have a bonus. So my bonus, if you sign up within the next 48 hours, you're going to receive a special daily planning blueprint, which I've offered, but I'm going to throw in a how-to video of how I fill it out so that it can teach you how to get the most out of that daily planning blueprint for you. So it'll be personalized video for you. If you decide to sign up for the annual membership, I will be also throwing in a one-on-one 30-minute quick start weight loss coaching call for you, just a one-on-one with me. So normally, like I said, I have one-on-one clients. That's a whole separate thing. But for the group folks, they do not see me one-on-one. It's just in the group. But for you, I will do a one-on-one half-hour call if you decide to sign up for the annual membership. Okay. Any questions about anything that I shared today? I know I talked a lot and we're already at time. I'm going to be respectful of your time. Right on time, man. 3. Um, okay. So some folks have asked the question, do you mind if I answer some questions? For those of you who want to stay on, you certainly can. Meanwhile, I'm going to answer some questions that people have asked in the past, and I'm going to answer those. So that might be useful for some people that are kind of on the fence. So one person asked, if a woman's on weight loss medication but is afraid of regaining weight, if they stop the medication, can I help? How can I help them? So I actually have 2 clients that are in this situation, and I am been able to help them because handling the urge for food. So I do understand that the weight loss medication can actually can help you limit your physical hunger signals. The one thing that no medication, no surgery, and by the way, I have some clients that have had surgery. I have some clients that have had weight loss surgery, medication. There was another one. It'll come to me. But they've tried these other things and then regained their weight. It's because they didn't deal with the actual problem. The actual problem is their relationship with them and their relationship with food. If you're eating because of an emotional reason, that's the being physically less hungry isn't going to deal with that. And this is where I come in. Or when you know what to eat, when you get a diet plan from a nutritionist or something, you know exactly what to do, but you don't know how to take that first step. That's where I come in. I help you to bridge that gap from knowing what to do and helping you to be motivated and excited about getting there. So, some people ask me what I eat. So I would love to tell you everything. I basically eat everything. Now, especially when I first started, I did not change my food at all. So if I was eating McDonald's, I would eat at McDonald's. If I ate McDonald's food. I ate everything. I ate everything that had started with. At some point throughout my weight loss journey, I decided I didn't feel great I just noticed after a while, I didn't feel so great when I went to McDonald's. So I stopped going there. And I switched over to from fast food to lean cuisine at first. Just something that was simple, something that was easy, something that was doable. And then I learned to listen to my body's hunger signals a little bit more and realized that wasn't doing it either for me. So now I just eat basically anything you can get from nature, whole foods. I try to stay away from most packaged things. I really buy very little pre-made packaged things. So that's basically, I love the idea if God grew it or it was born from another animal, that's what I eat. So I pretty much eat everything. Yes, even sweets, but I plan them and I plan how often I eat them and how much I eat of those. So yes. Um, One person asked, I cook for my spouse and family, and they don't like to eat food that helps me to lose weight. Can you help me figure this out? So for those whose husbands are the cook or your family doesn't want to eat what you're eating, not a problem. Like I explained a little bit ago, my husband and I don't eat the same food. If I see another taco, I think I'm going to lose my mind. So I will eat them once in a while, but he loves them. He can eat them every day. I cannot. He also doesn't care for cheese. I know cheese is horrifying, right? But cheese, yes, a major food group. He does not like cheese. He doesn't like anything with sauces. He doesn't like anything that's a casserole. And I love all those things. So we will sit down together. He will eat his tacos. I will eat my food. So I'm going to be eating my kale salad this week, and he will be eating his tacos at the same table. We'll have a conversation. Not eating the same food does not require us to be connected just because we're eating the same food. And like I said, my mother-in-law doesn't like either of those things. So she has her own food too, as well. So that's how we deal with it. If your husband is the cook, what I would say is this, is that you can plan your food, just plan to eat when you're hungry and eat and stop when you're satisfied. So for some people that eat at specific times, comes up a lot, especially with the planning. is you learn to tweak this through time. So if you're a teacher and have to eat lunch at a specific time, maybe you want to light and you're not hungry at that lunchtime, you may want to decide to lighten up at breakfast and so that you can be physically hungry for your lunchtime. Same thing with dinner. If you have a long time between lunch and dinner, you may want to plan just a small snack, not a big one, but a small one, so that you can be physically hungry for your dinner, but not overeat. Because I used to do I would do like a pre-dinner before dinner was ready, or move your dinner time back if your family is amenable to it. That's something that I do. Or you could eat at different times and then just decide to sit with your people when you want to. So that's something that worked really well. Like say you have a husband who works really late or something, and you want to eat at like 5 or 6, but he doesn't get home till 8, and you learn for lots of reasons you decided you want to go to bed earlier, you don't want to eat at 8 o'clock. So yeah, just move your time. You eat at your time, and you can sit with him, have a glass of water while he's having his meal, and connect with him that way. So that's what I like to do. Um, what do I do for fun since I've lost my weight? I thought this was such a good question. I what I do for fun has shifted so significantly. Now that food's no longer the best part of my day and my body is much more mobile, guess what? I love taking walks and hikes and kayaking, paddleboarding. Turns out I love to paddleboard. Who knew that this would be a thing for me in my 60s? I also still like to sit and relax binge watching Netflix from time to time. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to explain unless you're doing it to avoid something. But yeah, my body is able to withstand so much more now since I've lost the weight that I love doing active things. I love one of the biggest payoffs is that I get to walk with my son who's younger, and we just have the best time walking and talking, and I don't get tired out, and I can spend time and keep up with him, which feels really, really good. So that was a really good question. Anyone else have any questions? If you do, you can drop them into their comments below in this replay. I'm trying to think if there's any other thing that I should cover. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah. So for those of you who are interested, the Lose It Forever weight loss group is open. I'm going to pop the sales page into the chat. And for those of you who are on the replay, it is down below. You can just click there and it gives you all the information that you need. And I will see you in the group. Take care.